Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today I am sharing my top 10 memory games for kids. You don't just have to play the tile memory game over and over again, the standard one that they have for all the different versions and themes out there. There are a lot of really great and fun memory games for kids to check out. I have the games on this list listed in the description of the video down below, along with a timestamp if you want to skip to a particular one, along with links to any of the how to play videos I've created for these games as well. So let's get started. First up, we have Dinosaur Escape, which is a cooperative memory game in which you are trying to help your 3 little dinosaurs that are on this island move around and get matched up with their corresponding tile that matches the picture of the dinosaur and get them away to Dinosaur Island before the volcano explodes. You roll the die and it either tells you a number of spots to move, or it can be a picture of the volcano and then you have to build the volcano, and if it gets completely assembled, then you've lost the game. But it's very simple and fun to play. You can move any of the dinosaurs. There's only one tile that's bad if you flip it over. If you flip over the T-Rex tile, then it's bad, but all it does is it makes you go back to a start spot. So nothing really truly negative can happen to you. And even if you lose the game, building the volcano is really fun, and it's kind of exciting when you say, oh no, it came too soon and the lava's here. So kids love this. We played this so much especially when my dinosaur obsessed boys were really little. This was a go-to in our house. We played with it all the time. Next up, we have 2 games listed together, Pengoloo and Tongues Out. And they are on this spot together because they are essentially the same game, but just with different themes. In Pengoloo, you are rolling 2 dice with colors on them, and then you get to pick up 2 penguins and see if the eggs underneath match either of the colors on the dice. And it's great because if it even just matches 1, yay, I feel successful, I collected something. If it matches 2, you get to roll the dice and go again, and that's a very big deal. And the main difference is with Tongues Out, it's pugs eating lollipops, and that's changed their tongues are different colors, and you get to either squish their little sides or their back to make the tongue pop out. So you roll 2 dice, and then you're trying to find the tongue colors that match the dice. So it's so simple. It's really easy to feel successful. A lot of times, adults are the worst at the memory games. Kids do really well at memory games, which is part of why they enjoy them so much. Adults have more trouble. And as an adult who sometimes has trouble with memory games, I really like these ones because I can do okay. I can collect a few of the little pugs, I can collect a few penguins, and feel good about myself when my 3 or 4-year-old beats me on repeat. Next up, we have Critter Cruise, which is a cooperative Noah's Ark themed memory game in which you are trying to help Noah match up the animals to their suitcases. And then they get to go on the ark with their suitcases, and you want to get all the animals on before you flipped over too many of the soggy suitcases, and those flip over the path tiles the animals are standing on to the wet side. And if it's all wet path tiles, then you've lost the game. But I love memory games like this where really you already have one item that you can see and you're just trying to match. You're trying to find the matching item. It's a nice, gentle way to play the memory game where kids can feel successful more easily. It's a little bit easier to keep track of it. And many bonus points anytime you include animals or a cute theme. Next up, we have Hedgehog Haberdash, which feels a bit like a gentler version of the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel to me, but with a memory component. In this game, you have a hedgehog, and you're rolling a die, and it allows you to pull 1 or 2 leaves from the bag, and when you get a leaf, it has 2 sides to it, and they're 2 different colors. So if you're the pink hedgehog and you get a leaf that is pink on one side and blue on the other, you'll put it into your hedgehog with pink side out, and the other players need to pay attention to where you put that because if another player rolls the die and they get the side of the die where the wind is blowing, that allows you to take a leaf from another player. And if they're the blue hedgehog, they want to take that leaf that's pink and blue because they can take it and then place it in their own hedgehog. And whoever fills up their hedgehog full of all the corresponding colored leaves first is the winner. This one is so much fun. My daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, just started playing it, and I like this one a lot too because the memory component is pretty fun. The stealing is mellow. It doesn't seem to make anybody too upset, and it's fun to play with after you're done with the game too. My 4-year-old likes to put all the leaves in the hedgehogs and play around with them, and so it is a bit of both toy and game, which I am a big fan of in board games for this age. Next up, we have Enchanted Forest, a fantasy-themed memory game in which each of the 13 different trees around on the board have a different picture on the bottom of it, and you're trying to go around and look underneath trees, remember what's under them, get up to the top of the board, and then whatever card is out at the top, you are trying to match it to the correct tree. And then if you're up there and you've already gotten a card, then you get, if you correctly have collected a card, then whatever the next picture that comes up, you can try to, if you remember where that one is, then you get to match it to its tree. And it's just the first to three treasure cards wins. This game is hard. It's ages 4 and up on the box. And I, as an adult, struggle a bit to remember all of it takes a little while to get to all the different trees. So it's not just, okay, I got to remember this. You have to remember it for like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So this is good if you're looking for something that's a little bit more challenging for a memory game. And I mean, some little kids, this is so right up their alley. They're so good at remembering. You could come back, the next day and they'd say, oh, this tree is this and this. They just have it down. And it's just one of those things, if you're just relying on a super short-term memory, it's going to be rough going, especially because you get sent back home a fair bit. If you get the wrong item when you're at the top, or other people can send you back if they land on the same space as where you are, and it takes a bit to get up to the top of the board. So theme great, components fun, it's very cool to set up, and this is ideal if you were looking for a little more of a challenging memory game experience. Next up, we have Rat-a-Tat Cat, which is basically the card game Golf, but with a very fun cat theme in which you have 4 cards face down in front of you. At the beginning of the game, you cannot look at them. And you are trying to draw cards and replace the cards you have out in front of you until you think you have the lowest total there. And then you get to say, Rat-a-Tat Cat. You finish out the round, and then everybody flips over the cards, compares their hands, and whoever has the lowest score wins the round. It's so cute. The cat cards are the good cards. The rat cards are the bad cards, the 8 and 9s, the really big ones. They have a few specialty cards. So it's worth getting this as opposed to just playing it with a regular deck of cards because kids like theme matters a lot to kids, and the specialty cards are just, it's peek, swap, and draw 2. You can peek at somebody's card and see what they have. You can swap, so if you peek and see, oh, they have a 1 over there, you can swap one of your cards if you get that specialty card with their card. You can, the draw 2, you just draw 2 cards and you pick which one you want to keep. So this is one of those games that you get and you say, this is so simple. Will the kid like it? Yes, they will love it. They can understand the game fully. It's very fun to play, and this just seems to be one of the ones that kids get and they play on repeat over and over again because it's just so simple, so fun. They understand every bit of it, and they generally beat the adults that they're playing against, so that helps as well. Next up, we have Lucky Ducks, which is a great game for as young as 2, I'd say, all you're doing is you turn the game on, you get to push a button, and these ducks move around in a pond, and there's even little quacking noises that are made. And whatever symbol you're sitting in front of, you're trying to collect all the ducks that belong to that family. So you pick up a duck and you look underneath, and if it matches the color and symbol in front of you, you get to keep it. If it doesn't, you put it back in the pond, and it keeps on going around. And what's nice is if you're another player and that duck matches your color and symbol, you try to keep an eye on it as it's moving around. And then when it's your turn, you get to pick it up and collect it. And you're just playing until you are the first to have collected all 3 ducks that matched your family. Then you're the winner. And this game is great because it's very easy to get the basics of it down. You only have to find one thing that matches you. There aren't multiple things to keep track of, really. And again, it is a little bit of both toy and game, which is perfect for preschoolers. Next up, we have Stone Soup, which is a cooperative memory game in which you are trying to match all of the soup tiles before you collect all of the fire out tokens. If that happens, you have lost. And I like this because it's a nice twist on kind of the standard tile flip, like find 2 that match of the same item kind of memory game, but making it cooperative is a game changer for a lot of kids. Sometimes kids get really nervous about the idea of winning or losing, and having a cooperative option really helps them come and play and be excited to play a game. And it still counts as a full-fledged board game, even if it's cooperative, as far as I'm concerned. It's like being on the same basketball team together. You're on a team together, working together, win and lose together. Totally counts. So this one is a very familiar concept. You've made it cooperative, and there is the magic stone card allows you to flip one of the fire out tokens back over. And there's exactly the right number of fire out tokens for you to lose the game. So if you flip one of them back over and just remember what that is, what spot that's on, and never draw that card again, you should win 100% of the games, because you can't lose if you just remember to not draw that one twice. So very good win percentage, which is excellent for kids as well. So check this one out. Next up, we have Junk Jumble. And when I first saw this game, I thought, this is too close to real life to be a game. This is just life for me to try to find where the kids' items are in a jumble of drawers. But when I played, I was pleasantly surprised. It is a very fun and kind of novel memory game that isn't at all related to flipping tokens. There's a nice push your luck element, but it's also a little bit forgiving, because what you're doing is you're trying to, you collect a certain number of cards that you say, okay, I think I can look for 3 items, or ooh, I think I'll be able to find 4 items, all in a go. And so you can determine your difficulty level, and you're rewarded with more pin tokens the more items you're able to find. And you take turns looking in drawer, like, okay, I'm going to look in drawer number 1 and kind of remember what's in there. I'm going to look in drawer 2, and then you get to take turns doing that. And then you get to say, okay, I think this item is in drawer number 1, because I looked and I remember, I'm pretty sure it's there. And so there's enough where sometimes you're kind of hoping that it's in one of the drawers. There's only 4 drawers for it to be in. And sometimes you're lucky and you're like, oh, yay, I was sort of sure it was in here. There's a little bit of allowance because there's really only 4 places. You have a 25% chance anyway to find the thing. So, and I mean, the ages on this, ages 6 and up, I'm constantly trying to get my early elementary school kids to be able to find their items. So maybe this is good practice. Maybe this is good practice for your kids for real life in game form, and made it fun. But I really enjoyed this. I thought I was going to be just like, oh, having to go through a mess for a game, but it plays well. It's nice, push your luck, but a little bit of memory going on too. So I really enjoyed this. It was great for me and the kids. And finally, we have the Magic Labyrinth. In this game, there is a invisible maze that you are trying to navigate through to get to magical symbols on the board. Before the game begins, you put together little wooden blocks or spacers underneath the board, and you're supposed to do a certain number of them, do sort of a random pattern. And if you think, oh, I put the maze together, I'm going to remember what it is. No, you're not. You do kind of a random pattern, and then if you just twirl it a little bit and don't look before you put it, assemble the board and put the top part on, then you won't remember how it's oriented, so that will fix it for you. We've played this enough and have set up the maze many times, and no one's ever said, oh, I remember exactly what I did and I can make it through. What you do is your wizard has a little magnetic ball bearing attached to it under the board. And so you're rolling a die, you're trying to go to whatever the magic symbol that's been selected from the bag for that round, and everybody's racing to get there. You roll the die, and you move a certain number of spaces, and if you run into one of the invisible walls that you can't see underneath the board, then the little ball bearing falls off, goes back to the side, and you have to go back to the start. And remember, oh yeah, this is the spot where there's a wall, so I need to watch out the next time I get there and go a different way and not try to go across that. So very cool. Kids love magic, kids love mazes, and so this is all of that, plus a little memory thrown in. So this is very cool. It won a fair number of game prizes when it came out, the Kinderspiel des Jahres for 1 year, so it's very cool. Some good razzle-dazzle for a memory game. So that's it for my top 10 memory games for kids. Kids love a good memory game, and there are many excellent options on this list, so hopefully you found one or two you're excited to check out. Thanks, and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.